version of my Canadian. Go for it. Oh, stand-in. It's a camera thing. I didn't know that. I actually know what I'm doing, sort of.
You see everything, anything on those videos. For the most ridiculous things that you just go.
Hey, they let me on.
I like to watch bunny videos.
Oh, that must be cute.
Most people watch kitty videos. You watch bunny videos.
I watch bunny videos. I also watch sea life saving human videos because I think that's really cool. There's a really good one about a diver that is sea lion. Sea lions have been known to attack divers because they're predators. There's a sea lion that shoves a diver into a cave. It's really cute, okay?
Yeah.
The diver doesn't know what's going
Diver
on.
drowns.
No, he's actually saving him from a mako shark.
Oh.
Mako sharks are the natural enemy of sea lions.
Yeah.
And the sea lion gave up his protection, put the diver in there,
Aw.
grabbed the guy by the arm. The guy was like freaking out, thinking that he was taking his arm off. And he didn't fight. He just There's a chick in the Bahamas from somewhere in Europe that takes hooks and fishing line out of sharks. And she sits on the bottom of the sand with a chainmail dive suit. And she holds her hand out like this. And the sharks put their nose on her hand and go vertical. And they'll literally take out the hook, which is amazing. There's a really good one of a gray whale. It's a gray whale who gets a woman diver, a biologist, on his nose and pushes her to a boat. Again, there's a shark in the water. And she's like freaking out that this whale is crossing her. And so she's on the boat pointing behind her and she doesn't see what they're pointing at because she's at water level. She gets on
Welcome
the
to
boat.
Travel is Fun Tour. Meeting in about 12 minutes. 12 minutes and we'll go live.
This whale just wanted to go back on the boat.
Wow. Oh, isn't that something?
You too. What are you gonna do with it?
Am I in the right spot?
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now I'm gonna go hide again. Hi, Dr. Martin Luther King.
That's him. So I hope everybody's having a nice lunch. Good food today?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I want one of those in my house. I also want an alpaca in my house. They go great with
You
lettuce.
don't want them in your house.
No, I want them.
Maybe in your yard, so they can graze on your grass.
I told her when the wood floor is totally trashed, I'm just taking it down to concrete. And we'll have hay and straw on the floor. And I'll put lawn furniture in the living room.
The newest rabbit is mentally ill. She was kept isolated.
What are you gonna do
for the
with
first
your
20
man
years of her
cave?
life in a house full of people.
Oh, that'll be isolated from everything else.
She's really messed up in the head.
And she won't have the key. Because any room she's got access to becomes storage for garbage.
You know what? Some of that garbage is your stuff. There is half of the Darth Vader in the house.
That's not garbage.
Really?
That's a very valuable collectible.
My neighbor says the same thing, the wife wants to clean it, but she says, I can't totally clean out everything he has is valuable.
I gotta watch what I say because I'm going out live over the
Oh.
page
You gotta be nice.
here. Just for this once. So for those of you at home, we have a huge crowd here today at the Big Apple Buffet, standing room only. It's a shame I can't move the camera and show you, but they're all here. All the regulars.
So that's taken right now?
Yes.
We need to go back to.
Yeah, if you go on our
It was
website,
canceled. We need to.
you can click a little button on the website
Yeah.
and it'll take you to YouTube and you can watch live. So some people are probably at home right now watching me.
Something before they sit
That's
down.
okay, because when it's done, I go in and I edit the beginning and off
That was canceled on my birthday.
and post it.
You know what?
So you can actually go back and watch Travel Club from last month
Played with the slot.
and hear me say everything all over again.
All right.
I miss Ollie.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I spent my entire birthday
Oh,
over by Westgate River Ranch.
Yeah.
And 2.5 hours drive.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Got to check
I did
it
a lot.
out.
I didn't
By
go to
myself.
school.
And he went to Scouts.
Did he make it up to you?
Frequently.
Did he make it up to you?
Well, they heat the pool, so. It's hard. Yeah, it's just getting it down.
Yeah.
I started-
Yeah.
That's on this long.
You know, I still want to go to like Adventures Archery or something and try out like crossbows.
Okay, well, I have.
Like I should go, but I want to try crossbows.
I have a crossbow.
Lucky son.
Last year, and we got.
Said, how did it go? Barbara Park?
She's here.
She's here, she's the biggest one in the country, and.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, there are some Tampa's pretty big too.
Which I do, but I didn't want to have.
Well, we asked folks to wear a mask while they're on the bus.
Dade from Pelias.
And so.
So you're wearing a mask.
Short of it.
Wait, what do you
You
think
don't
you
have to
have to
distance.
Since they've
And
been
so
dead,
before
it's
that,
better.
you will.
We haven't had a much more than 35 people on it.
Took a blanket on.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
And
serious?
we're grateful for
I just
everything
wanted
you
to go
did.
by Costa
More
Rica.
nights than that. I can't go around this.
So I do have a shoulder test. It's been-
Well, we've actually gone through the Department of Transportation, the city and the state.
I'm
and
not
the
gonna-
government.
Did you know that?
One time you said I did my.
So.
Can't
we
get
got
any
it,
answers, so
and listen,
we're running it. We do full
I can't
sanitation
drive, I
before and
can almost drive.
after. All
It's
touched
got
down
an
to
80
the
pound
bus.
pole. The other one has 165 pound pole.
It's got It says a dedicated bus that goes out with us.
Exactly.
Yeah, you look familiar. It's been a long time since I've seen some folks.
Well, this one was over here, Mark Moore.
Yeah.
I've got 45.
Yeah, they're not gonna
Well, yeah.
Because I don't know about my very specific reason why. And then I have a.
Well,
They
They are isolated. Not many people in and out. I think folks who are living there, I think they can go outside.
Good.
She's like, she's very nice.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, they have a few cases there.
Borrowed it during the last and. So. Todd's-
Yeah.
But yeah, rain.
Yes. I don't know what their status is right now.
And so, I hope not, because we're talking about. I don't know, I don't was. Modified for Americans. I know, she's got a kick.
Well, we're doing the best we can with that. Obviously, we're not forcing people onto the bus. We have been very liberal with refunds. We get those. No, we went, 2019 was actually one of the best years we've had.
Everything went all right.
2020 is one of the worst years I had. It's
Half grade line for everybody.
the worst year my dad's ever seen.
Gotta make a joke out of it. I don't want to cry.
Well, you're right there. It's in it.
I feel good. Because I didn't sleep all night. I didn't put any makeup on the day.
We'll turn the lights lower.
I always look better with the lights on.
I'm hoping for Sunday. See what the doctor says Friday. But the recovery.
that can't last. You've got a whole year's income to make it. Some places are fun, racing people.
Yeah.
Most of those numbers I take them on that one.
That's too early. Right. They haven't been open lately.
I like Chattanooga.
I know where that, I took that
So
picture.
he started sending me.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
I took that picture.
Not doing the classes. I have to know. Back to it.
Yeah, Todd, I took that picture.
I stole a bunch of your pictures. You take good pictures. And you make them easy for me to get. Hope you don't mind.
All right.
I don't care.
I appreciate it.
Wow, it was all like, I took that picture. Nobody could say it. I just hear it. They had about 80.
That's kind of how we do things. We go to restaurants,
Between the
if
heads.
you've been with somebody, that's who you hang out with.
There's an entire rabbit.
Sit with them on the bus.
This looks like an interesting house.
You'll have to come on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So we just did St. Augustine last weekend.
Rabbits. I don't play.
Okay. Light.
It sounds so attractive.
Beer.
I did.
It takes, I go to the house. And I do.
I'm now, you know, I'm
not
Our
bedroom is.
I didn't do any of them, you know, I know some of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we all want to get out and do something.
it
I
was
gotta
like
get
space
up
for
front, 'cause it's almost time for me to start.
Yeah.
We don't have
That's Barbara.
enough crowds. And I didn't-
Ah, that's right.
It's Todd time.
Good to see you.
Okay, hi there, those of you at home, I'm gonna ask Wendy and she will.
Okay. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You did a good job. We're gonna flip through the rest of the opening slides and get ready to get started. These pictures are showing the back porch where we did lunch bunch last month. And I got these from Buffy's Facebook, because Buffy puts a lot of good pictures up for me. And I got some of Barbara's on there, but I think you missed yours. Yours were at the beginning. You had some big Space Center and Amish pictures. Some goats. There's me having lunch. A rare picture of Barbara Garabrandt, because she's usually taking the pictures. Okay, that takes us to the opening. So we will get started in just a second. So welcome everybody to Travel is Fun Tours. This is our December Travel Club meeting, the last one of the wretched year of 2020. Let's pray to God that 2021 is better. It almost has to be, unless the sweet meteor of death takes us all. Anyway, I'm Todd Kennedy, for those of you who don't know me, and we are at Travel is Fun Tours. To tell you a little bit about the company, if you don't know us, and I'm belaboring some of this because we're going out over the internet on YouTube through that little camera there. So somebody might be watching out in TV land who knows nothing about Travel is Fun. So we are a family-owned small business. We've been in business a long, long time. Being small and family-owned, we are responsive to your needs. When COVID, some adapting. We didn't get to do any trips the second half of March, April, or May. The first thing we got out and did in June, we did a couple in June, and we did a lunch bunch and one other. I'll tell you what lunch bunch is about in a little bit when we go through the trips. But we adapted, and we did the best we could, and we continue to adapt and try to keep you all comfortable and safe and happy. A young lady was asking me earlier, what do we do on the bus to adapt to COVID? So we do ask folks to please wear a mask while they're on the coach. We do temperature checks as they get on board. If somebody's over 100.4, we would ask them to head home. Haven't actually had that yet. We have had some folks who scan 100.4 or higher back in July and August when they were standing in the sun for an hour waiting for the bus to come. And when we get them in the shade for a minute, their temperature comes down and they're okay to go. So those are some of the things we do. We also do sanitation on the bus at the beginning and end of each tour to make sure that the touch surfaces have all been cleaned and are safe for you. We are fully licensed and insured. We do carry business insurance. We have licenses with the state of Florida, and that is important because there are companies out there that sell tours and do travel that have no license, no insurance, no existence as a business other than throwing an ad up in the newspaper or somewhere else and having you send them checks. So that is an important thing to look for. When you look at our documents, it says registered state of Florida seller of travel ST 12255. That's our license number. And that tells you that the state of Florida knows we're doing business and has looked into our finances. And that's why we are still standing. There are other businesses that COVID has taken down, and they didn't have the finances and pockets to handle things. I will tell you, my dad, I love my dad to pieces, but he's kind of like Scrooge McDuck. And for 40 years, he's been filling the vault and making sure that any profits we had were put back into the business. And that's why we're still here today, 9 months later, and not in a soup kitchen. So we got over 40 years of experience. Like I tell everybody, my dad started this when I was a little bitty kid, and I'll probably be doing this for a long, long time to go. We use up-to-date modern motor coaches. We did have a hiccup at the beginning. We were using a nice company called Boyce Charter, and they went under. So we went back to a great company called Mart's First Class, which actually what's good with them is they are a national company. So we've got support all over the country with garages and mechanics and stuff with them. And here comes the bus now. You can see my dad, he's there. That's Pat. We do, under normal circumstances, we would do 10 to 15 day trips a month. Some of these months I've only had 6 or 7. I've gone up to as many as 10 in some of the months in the last year. But we're going to go over all the different trips coming up and tell you a little bit about all those destinations. We also do overnight tours, and I've got a lot of stuff coming up. I've got 2 that are hot off the presses today, and Ollie's got the sheets for those in back for you. Or you can get them off of our website, tiftours.com. That's TIFTOURS.com. And all of these sheets will be available on the website, hopefully today. And each of the overnight tours has its own flyer that goes day by day, tells you everything that's going on. We do have an optional travel club, and we are closing in on travel club renewal time. It runs by calendar years. So if you are a member of the travel club, it's time to pay your $10 to get on the mailing list for next year, and that gets you a name tag, keeps you on the mailing list, and gets you the mailing every month, which Ollie comes and helps us with, which is so nice. And we love having folks in the travel club. It also gets you $2 off your trips. If you're not a member already, again, you can get a flyer to fill in to join the travel club on our website. And brand new members are $14. Also, Ollie's got flyers in the back of the room there for me. Bottom line with travel is fun. The travel is fun experience. We always pledge to you we'll be friendly and courteous and informative. And I do lots and lots of homework when I do the longer tours, especially if it's a place I haven't been before. We try to keep you very comfortable. And Jesse has learned how to turn the heat on a bus, which is, that's an accomplishment for a Florida driver. I go back a few years, we did a trip to San Antonio, and we found snow in Louisiana. There was a snowman at the Welcome Center. And Jesse struggled for an hour or so that first day trying to get the heat on and get it adjusted just right. But now he knows his way around that heater. Most of all, we're going to have lots of fun. You pack your bag, you come throw it at me, I'll put it under the bus, and off we go to have a great time. Now we're going to do a Where in the World contest, and nobody has quizzed me on Where in the World yet. You should have a little yellow slip in front of you if you're here in person. I don't have it set up for you to do it at home this time, but you don't want it. I'm going to show a picture of a place we are going to go. It's a place we've been before. You don't want to yell out the answer.
When are we going?
What's that?
Marina's cheating. Marina's
When?
cheating.
We are going sometime in 2020 or 2021, or maybe 2022. The question was, when are we going? Marina over here is cheating, so I should move the camera and show you guys. Best answer wins the prize. So whoever, if you think you know where it is, write the most details about it, because if somebody else has the same right answer, you can beat them by having the most complete answer. So I'm going to show you the picture, and I'm going to stroll back to the back real quick and whisper in Ollie's ear so she knows what the correct answer is. Unless she nods and tells me she knows what that is. I don't see a nod.
Where is that?
Where is that? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Where it is.
Wendy knows.
No, you're totally wrong. Wendy guessed it totally wrong.
Can we walk up?
So we're going to get into highlights of upcoming trips. Some of you guys were asking me about what's going on the rest of December. Not a lot. Tomorrow is Lunch Bunch Deluxe. We are going to Cooper's Hawk over in Tampa for our annual Lunch Bunch Deluxe, celebrating Christmas and everything. This is a very special lunch bunch because Wendy is working her fingers to the bone. Those of you who have perfect attendance for lunch bunches or close to perfect will get a little gift that Wendy has made for you, jewelry, and she loves to do that and show our appreciation for you guys. And we're going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries on the bus, so if you're a December baby, get ready for your tiara. You can see by the lights there, that's a green light, that trip's going. Red light for plaid tidings. I've only got about 8 or 9 people on that. So by the 12th, by Saturday, I don't anticipate. If everybody in this room goes, we could maybe go. So let me know, guys. December 13th on Sunday, we are going to Gaylord Opryland in Nashville with a stop at Callaway Gardens in Georgia for a great Christmas trip. We got about 32, 33 people, I think, on that trip, and it's going. If you would like to still go, call the office right now at 727-347-1600, and we'll get you on board if we possibly can. We do have to make sure Gaylord's got room for you, and all the hotels are squared away, but we could squeeze 1 or 2 more in there. December 16th, you can see Gaylord Palm Christmas is a red light. That means I only got like 7 people who signed up for that one, and that's usually a hit most years, but unfortunately this year it is not. December 25th, 26th, and 27th, we've got the Tropical Christmas trip. That's going down to Fort Myers. That's going to include a lot of great things like a dinner at the Broadway Palm Dinner Theater to see the show Holiday Inn. Now we're staying at the Drury Inn for the hotel. That has caused immense confusion among the customers. So we're seeing the show Holiday Inn, but we're sleeping at the Drury Inn. Everybody got that?
There's
Okay.
booze at Drury, not at Holiday.
Actually, that's not true. There's booze at the Broadway Palm if you pay for them. There's going to be a 10,000 Islands boat ride and other great surprises for you on that one. And then, unfortunately, our New Year's trip, looks like Wendy and I are going to spend New Year's home alone for about the first time in, I think, 15 years or so.
15 years.
So our New Year's trip did not go over too good. We'll probably try that itinerary next year when things look better. So I keep mentioning Wendy. You guys at home know my wife, Wendy Hampton Kennedy, and she has a trip coming up in January, so I'm going to give her the floor, and she's going to tell you about her tour.
Yeah, so this is my family. That's Abigail, Hot Mix Faces, Christopher, and Eris. And during COVID, this is what I've done. Every month, I give Mr. Austin a haircut. That's my back patio. That's my pond. Anyway, so on January 4th, it is labeled as the Murder Mystery Tour. I don't want you guys to get hung up on the concept murder. It's more oddities in Pinellas County. We happen to live in the great state of Florida that usually makes the national news because we're getting gored by buffaloes somewhere out in Yellowstone. Don't ask, just watch the news. Happens every year. Somebody from Florida gets thrown up in the air by a buffalo.
So I'm highlighting on some really odd things that have happened in Pinellas County, which are kind of unique. We are going to go out of the county for one stop up near Citrus Park Mall. That is where we're going to be doing lunch. But
Someone's almost just ripped off.
if you're looking for something odd to do that you haven't gotten to do before and learn a little bit about where you're from, come join me.
Thank you, Miss Wendy.
We're going to go for
Okay, so that is the January 4th on a Monday, Bay Area Murder Mystery History Tour, and Wendy will be your host. So that should be an exciting, fun day. We've got a Biloxi getaway that's leaving on January 10th. That's a 4-day trip. Great trip over to the Beau Rivage in Biloxi. And you got 3 nights at the Beau Rivage on that one. You're going to get some touring in Biloxi, Mississippi. But what do we go to Biloxi for? Hanging out at the casinos. So you'll get plenty of casino time there. The bus will take you to several different casinos. Dad's always wheeling and dealing to see what kind of free play he can get you. At the minimum, you're going to get $25 free play at the Beau Rivage and 2 $15 meal vouchers at the Beau Rivage. And then anything else will be bonus. And a lot of times he doesn't get the answers on those till a week or 10 days before the trip. You'll get to visit several fantastic casinos, and you get to hang out with my dad, Pat, and our fantastic driver, Mr. Jesse Austin. And we could use more folks on that for that one to go. So I'll level with you guys. I'll tell you what the temperature check on each trip is as we go. January 19th, we're working on going to Marina Jack's down in Sarasota Bay. And even though it's January and it's kind of cold, you can see it's an enclosed yacht. They take you around Sarasota Bay where you can see the beautiful blue water. Usually there's some dolphins jumping near the boat, and great Mediterranean architecture, a fantastic lunch, and a nice narrated tour around Sarasota Bay. January 21st, I've got Lunch Bunch with me, and we're going to a unique place. We've never been there before. I'm real excited. Actually, I just got off the phone with the owner, Bob, yesterday or the day before, going over the menu. So I got the menu all locked tight. It's some really good fancy food. I think you'll like it. Some of you guys, let me see, what was the dessert called? I think it was called Rum on the Rails, if I remember correctly. It's got spiced peaches on carrot cake with a rum glaze over it. So, yeah, I know Carl will be there. All I had to say was rum, right, Carl? Well, that's the place we're going is called Bob's Train, and he's got converted rail cars that the Ringling Brothers Circus used to use to transport their circus around the country. And he turned them into a restaurant. So we're not going to be riding the rails, but we'll be in the train cars, stationary, and having a great lunch. One of his waitresses is actually a retired circus performer. She was a trapeze artist, so she'll probably swing around the roof and drop your food from the ceiling. Who knows? We have Amelia Island in Fernandina Beach coming up in January. That's January 24th. That one actually has enough people to go as of today already. We're in the mid-20s, so it's a nice, comfortable head count. It's a fantastic trip. We do 2 nights at the Holiday or the Hampton Inn on Amelia Island. It's a beautiful hotel. Yeah, that's their lobby right there. And we've got views of Cumberland Island from right around the hotel. If you don't know what Cumberland Island is, it's just off the shore. And in Georgia, I guess that's not across the Georgia border, isn't it? And they have wild horses that wander Cumberland Island. That's why Wendy's mad at me. We didn't get to see Cumberland Island when we were up there because my son called for dinner. It's a whole thing. Anyway, you'll get to see the wild horses, and you can come back and tell Wendy you saw them and make her even more mad at me. You get a guided historic tour of the area. You get a Beach Creek boat tour. We're going to do some driving along the Atlantic Ocean, and you'll get a short trip into St. Augustine with that one too. January 27th, we're going to see Happy Days, the musical. That's going to be down at the Broadway. And now a lot of folks have asked, what have the dinner theaters done through COVID? And the Broadway Palm has done a lot of things to adapt. They actually do a served meal instead of the buffet now. So you'll tell your server what you would like. They'll bring it to you and place it on the table for you. They have reduced the number of tables in the dining room so they can spread things out a little bit better. And, you know, same sanitation that we're doing. They're asking you to wear masks coming and going and all that stuff. But they're going to do Happy Days, and it's based on the TV series. You remember that one with Ralph, Potsy, Richie Cunningham, Ralph Malph, Arthur the Fonzarelli. And I could probably have written this myself. You can imagine what the story's going to be. Some evil developer has gotten the lease to Al's drive-in and is going to tear it down to build something. So the gang has to all get together to save Al's. So it should be a blast. You'll have a great time with that show and great food. And they do have adult beverages if you pay for them. January 29th, we've got the Columbia Restaurant with flamenco dancers, and one of our favorite places to go. The food is out of this world. The flamenco dancers are amazing, and there's a lot of great history in Ybor. So usually we leave a little bit earlier on those trips, and Dad does a quick driving tour, tells you a little bit about Ybor history. We get to the restaurant, have a great dinner, and then get to finish off the night watching those flamenco dancers earn their pay. January 30th, we're going to do Wild, Florida, and I keep trying to remember the name of that town. I should have looked it up because it's a strange town. It's east of Orlando. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You will never, ever drive there by accident. You won't be driving somewhere else and accidentally drive there. I want to say Kennesaw, but that's not it. But it's a beautiful animal park. It's not huge. Kenansville. Very good. Bonus points for Marina. Kenansville. I know because I've driven there. I gave Wendy a surprise mystery tour for Christmas a couple of years ago, and we took her out to Wild Florida, and we got to go in the cage with Guy the tree sloth and feed him corn and pat his soft fur and smell his corny breath. And it's my fault. We irritated Guy because I asked the keeper who was in there with us, what does a tree sloth's ears look like? Because they got long hair. They're kind of like hippies, and they don't get haircuts. So I've never seen a tree sloth's ears, and I was just curious. So she starts digging in his hair by his ear, and he got furious, and he slapped her hand away, just like that. Luckily, she was able to duck. And I still didn't get to see a tree sloth's ear, but she said it looks like a person's ear. I still would like to know. Other things you can do there. We're going to do they have a brand new drive-through safari. So even if you've been there before, you haven't seen the drive-through safari. We're going to do that when we arrive. And again, on our way out of town, so you can see the animals at two different parts of the day, because animals have their schedules too. You can visit with some of the animals in their enclosures. That's an additional fee. They have an airboat ride. If you want to do that, that's an additional fee. They have food there, so you can eat. And one of the options for you to have lunch while you're there, if you book it ahead of time, they'll set up a table for you and bring you lunch inside the alligator enclosure surrounded by alligators. So who's volunteering for that?
Yeah, sure.
Barbara, you would do that. I bet you would do that, wouldn't you? I didn't have trouble getting you on the saddle at Texas Roadhouse. You need with gators. Barbara's an adventurer. Okay, we're going to finish off January with a trip to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. That's January 31st to February 2nd. That's going to be 3 days. That's going to give you 2 nights at the beautiful Spring Hill Suites in Fort Lauderdale. X meals included. I never finished that line on the slide. But we are going to feed you at least 2 breakfasts. I think there's another meal included there. You're going to get to go see a beautiful castle called Vizcaya and do the tour there. There's going to be a canal tour of Fort Lauderdale where you get to see the homes of the rich and famous. You guys remember that show?
Yeah.
You'll get to see the kind of places people would kick me out of. And you get also an airboat ride at Everglades Holiday Park. So Barbara has provided our entertainment this month. And we're going to look at some stairs that I probably should have called this segment Lawsuits Waiting to Happen. Because some of these stairs, I don't know how OSHA approved them. And I came up with quotes about stairs to kind of bookend this. So the first quote is, 2 things are bad for the heart: running upstairs and running down people. That's a good one. You shouldn't run down people. That's by a guy named Bernard Baruch. So here's your first set of stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't volunteering for those. Especially after Carl's had that rum cake. That would be a real bad idea. I'll pick on Carl today.
Yeah, run up and down the steps.
Okay. Those look dangerous as heck. Real pretty. Aren't they gorgeous? But not real practical.
Oh,
That's like a parkour.
Yeah.
Or Christian piece.
And that one looks, you can see why I said a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Those would be very good to go down your cellar or your man's cave.
Or if you just want to keep people out of that part of the house. Now, the next one, you ever go running down the stairs and you think there's one more stair, but there wasn't, and your foot hits that ground extra hard? Somebody did that on purpose. They put the extra stripe there just to wreck you. That is not too cool. Now, I like this one. This one has a slide next to it. So if you don't have time for those stairs, you can jump on the slide and get down to the ground floor. Or I guess you could try and climb up the slide. We used to do that when I was a kid.
Going down the slide.
Oh, you might get a splinter. Okay, we're going to jump into February. February 1st, we're going to kick that off with a little trip we're going to call Manatees and Strawberries. We're going to go over to Apollo Beach and visit with some manatees. We're going to have a stop at Parksdale Farms. And we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing and touring in between. Probably a little bit of Tampa. Check out the bridges. Sometimes we've called this trip Circle the Bay. We might circle the bay, depending on if the bridges are all open that day. I have had to cancel a Circle the Bay because of that. It just became go halfway around the bay and then come back. But it should be a lot of fun. And that's going to include lunch at Fred's Market. And if you haven't been to Parksdale Farms lately, was that, Marina, was that you that pointed out the bacon-flavored syrup to me? I thought so.
How was that, by the way?
I haven't tried it yet. And my son wants it, so now I got to get another bottle. I made the mistake of telling him about it. February 5th, we're going to do Tampa Bay Downs. And Tampa Bay Downs, if the weather's yucky, that's a great day to be at Tampa Bay Downs because the viewing area is indoors. It's got stadium seating, so you can watch the track. It's got closed-circuit TVs up ahead, so you can watch races all across the country. It's got betting windows right there. It's got a fantastic served lunch. And if the weather's nice that day, you can go out in the bleachers and go right down to the track and watch the horses run by. That's my favorite place to watch from. I like to get right up to the rail so you can just feel the earth shake when they all go racing by.
I can see the horses too.
Yeah.
As they're coming out.
And usually they will bring a few of our passengers down because they sponsor one of the races. So usually they'll bring 4 or 5 of our customers down on the track. They'll take a picture with the horse and the jockey. And they get to call that the Travel is Fun race that day. February 6th, some of you guys are missing the Wagon Wheel Flea Market. So we're going to take you up to Oldsmar and try out the Oldsmar Flea Market. That one's got an interesting history. It started as just a you store it kind of place. And the owner would come in on weekends and found people would open their little garage units at his you store it and we're selling things. So he said, well, heck, I might as well get paid for this too. So he converted it into a flea market. I don't know if some of it is still a you store it, but it's one of the larger flea markets in the area. And we're going to do a lunch stop on the way. I think there's a McDonald's and a couple other things right in the neighborhood there. So we'll do a quick lunch stop and give you the afternoon to get some good shopping done. February 11th, we're going to get back into seeing shows. We're going to go to what was the Show Palace. Now it's called Broadway. I think it's Broadway in the Sunshine. Anybody know the new name up there? They just changed it. It was the Show Palace. They're going to do a show called The Marvelous Wonderettes. And again, they have completely remodeled the place. They eliminated a bunch of the seating so you can be spread out quite a bit more. They have fantastic food. And Marvelous Wonderettes, the story is it's a cotton candy colored, nonstop pop musical blast from the past. The Marvelous Wonderettes takes you to the 1958 Springfield High School prom. As we learn about their lives and loves, we are treated to the girls performing such classic 50s and 60s songs like Lollipop, Dream Lover, Stupid Cupid, Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, It's My Party, and It's in His Kiss, and a whole bunch more. So it should be a really great show and a lot of fun. They do have adult beverages for sale there too. I know what you guys are thinking. For Valentine's Day, we did this last year, so we're going to do it again this year because everybody seemed to really like it. We're going to go out on the Calypso Breeze out of Johns Pass, have a very nice lunch on board. They include beer, wine, sangria, rum punch. We will have some Valentine's goodies for you, so you feel loved as you're getting on and off the bus, and have a nice scenic cruise along the inland waterways. Just a great way to spend Valentine's Day. February 16th, we're going to give the Florida State Fair a shot. We haven't done it in years, but 2020 has been such a strange year. Why not try it again? So we're going to take you over to Tampa to the Florida State Fairgrounds, give you a good 4 or 5 hours to stroll around the fairgrounds, have you some good fair food. Who would be the first one to try a Krispy Kreme donut cheeseburger?
I've had it.
Have you really?
I've had it.
Wow.
It's actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
My son's the only other one I have ever seen do that. He did it at the Strawberry Festival one year. I tried to talk my other son into it. No sale there.
You think it's going to be gross, but it's actually
It's not so bad,
You get
huh?
that salty and sweet together.
Well, see, we have a voucher there, and they should have all kinds of other great things to see and do. Live shows and entertainment, and livestock, and all that stuff you expect from a good Florida State Fair. For February Lunch Bunch, by popular request, I've had a lot of folks ask to go back to Alfano's, a little Italian place up in Clearwater. So we'll sing happy birthday to our February babies, have a great lunch, and have a real nice time up at Alfano's. February 20th, we've got Till Theft Do Us Part. That's at the Off-Broadway Poem Dinner Theater. Notice it's theater seating there, and you eat in the dining room for that show. And it's an all-new comedy about Winston Johnson. He's an investment banker who was fired. He didn't have the heart to tell his wife, so he resorts to thievery. But when his conscience gets the best of him, he goes back to the homes he robbed to return what he stole. That's not a good plan. His outings cause his wife suspicion, so when she tries to catch him in the act, his life gets turned upside down, as you might have guessed. None of these shows, things ever turn out real good, do they? I don't want to be somebody whose life is based on one of these shows. Anyway, we're going to do the Space Coast Adventure. That's February 22nd to 24th. And that's a 3-day trip. We're going to be staying back at the Sleep Inn. No, I'm sorry. I got the wrong trip on my mind. We're going to be back at the Best Western Space Shuttle Inn, which has been fully remodeled, revamped, refurbished, whatever you want to call it. They put in a brand new Beef O'Brady's. They used to have a Durango's, so it'll be Beef O'Brady's now. And the decoration in the Beef O'Brady's is going to be all space shuttle themed. So that's kind of cool. You're going to get 3 meals included, 2 breakfasts, and 1 lunch. We're going to have a historic tour of Cocoa Beach, something we've never done before. I found a step-on guide who grew up, was raised in Cocoa Beach. Her dad was a professional working at NASA from, I believe it was the Mercury program on down to Apollo and the space shuttle. So she knows where the skeletons are buried. She knows a lot of the background stories of these astronauts, where things happened. We're going to give you a little bit of shopping time at Ron John. Who's never been to the Cocoa Beach Ron John? A bunch of you. Okay, it's a great store. It's really neat. They got a huge aquarium in there, so you can check out the fish. And you can pick up a shirt that says, I was at Ron John. If you're a walker, a block and a half to the east of the Ron John is the Atlantic Ocean. So you can walk out there and check out the beach and watch the surfers. And even though it's February, there'll probably be some surfers out there. They don't care. They got wetsuits. You're going to get a full day ticket at Kennedy Space Center. And then we're going to finish things up with a day cruise on the Victory Casino cruise. And that's where your lunch will be. And you'll get some free play out of those guys and entertainment on the boat and a cruise out on the Atlantic. So pretty darn good day. We got 3 days out there to maybe see something launch. They're launching a lot of stuff out there now. So odds are better than ever that we might see something take off.
And then you come back that day that you're on the Victory Cruise?
I think that's how I've got it laid out. I'd have to look at my notes
That's
again.
8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I might have that backwards. We might be doing Space Center Day 3 and Victory Cruise Day 2. I'd have to double check.
Wait, when you're coming back the day that you've gone to the Space Center?
Well, the Space Center's been closing at 5, so you would be back a little earlier than you would be with the Victory Cruise. Okay, so wrapping up the month of February, we've got a mystery tour. It will include a lunch. It will go someplace you haven't seen before. And that's about all I'm going to tell you. I'll throw you one more hint. We almost certainly will cross a bridge. And now it's time to look at some more stairs. This is a good inspirational quote. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Martin Luther King. I like that one. That's an appropriate. Now, the picture doesn't go with this quote too well. Clearly, somebody doesn't read blueprints very good. Because I don't think those stairs work quite the way the architect intended. I don't think he looked at the top view before they built those. Speaking of guys who can't read blueprints, those didn't turn out that good either.
Watch out for that first step.
Yeah, going up ain't so bad, but coming down, it's a doozy. Now, I love these. These are beautiful stairs,
Look at the wood.
but I shudder to even try to guess what that must have cost to build and install. That would be an absolute fortune. Notice no handrails too. So, if you're a little shaky on the stairs, that could be rough.
Oh,
That one's
no.
beautiful too.
No
But
handrail again.
Again, no handrail.
A friend of mine was an architect in Ohio, and he built the house out of all the big rocks that you get in a creek. you
Yeah.
know, Like
Beautiful.
slate, and he made his stairs like that come out of the wall.
I would be worried,
With slate rocks.
because I know a kid would stand on this end of the step and bounce.
Right.
And I would have my concerns. I want to know how that thing's anchored to the wall. If it's just screwed into drywall, I ain't going. Forget that.
There was still weight limit on those.
Yeah. See, we have concerns, don't we? Star Wars, if you've ever noticed in Star Wars, there are no handrails in the Death Star. It's an ocean nightmare, and there's a new show out on Disney called The Mandalorian, and somebody finally acknowledged the lack of handrails in the Star Wars universe because they made this blue guy go out on a ridge to turn something off. He goes, there's not even a handrail. Now, this one, I'm not sure where that is.
That's nice.
Looks like ruined somewhere, but it's gorgeous, isn't it? That'd be a neat place to spend a day. Okay, now the month you've all been waiting for, we're into March. So March 2nd, now Wendy gets to do her tour with you in January. This is going to be my tour. So make sure all of you sign up and make this a great success so I can rub it in her face. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I didn't mean that, honey. No, she's not watching.
Barbara Moore is watching us.
Hi, Barbara.
Yeah, hi Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi Barbara.
This trip came about because Jesse wanted some exercise one day when we didn't have any trips going, and he rode bikes with me and my scouts on some of our scout bike trips. So we went and we took a ride around Snell Isle on our bicycles. If you've never gotten lost on Snell Isle, I highly recommend it. There's some beautiful houses there, beautiful architecture, well worth seeing. Local celebrities have houses in there. I'm not going to tell you who yet. We're going to take the bus and tour Snell Isle. I'm going to give you, and I I got this much history I found and printed on Snell Isle. There's a lot of stories about it. So we're going to tour Snell Isle. We're going to give you some time at the new St. Pete Pier, and we're going to tie things up with a lunch at Doc Ford's restaurant out there at the pier. So should be a nice lunch. Should give you a chance to check out the new pier if you haven't already. I am working on getting us a step-on guide at the pier to give us a little bit of the history of the pier. Because if you don't know much about the pier, it goes back over 100 years. There's a lot to it. So that's March 2nd on a Tuesday.
Just hope it's not raining and smell all floods.
Yes. Well, I think the bus can make it through. Now, we might splash some water up into those houses, but, you know, they knew what they were buying.
That's true.
I got a friend who actually lives on Shore Acres, and their house got some water in it, and she had carpet in the house. And I'm like, you live on Shore Acres and you have carpet? Sorry, Jennifer, I'm telling your story. And they're having the house refurbished from the storm, and she's putting carpet back in.
Oh, no.
See? You guys agree with me, right?
No, tile.
Tile. It should be against the law to have carpet in Shore Acres. All right, moving along. Enough of the asides. March 4th on Thursday, we're going to go back to Moat Marine, and we're going to go to a brand new museum with that called the Crowley Museum. Lunch will be on your own. They have a nice little restaurant at Moat Marine, so you'll get lunch there, and we'll do a short visit to the Crowley Museum. It's not a big one, so you'll get an hour, hour and a half there in the afternoon. March 6th, we're going to try to go into Ruth Eckerd Hall. Ollie, are you taking a break?
Yeah.
I'll miss you.
Leave the room, please.
Permission granted. When you come back, you should collect the slips.
Teacher, may I?
I'm messing with poor Ollie today on her day off. Okay, we're going to do Doo-Wop Reunion. That's at Ruth Eckerd Hall, and that is no dinner included. That's just the show, but worth every penny. It's going to be a fantastic show. Guys, slick back your hair if you have some. Girls, put on your poodle skirts.
Yeah.
Let's cruise back in time to relive the greatest music as Doo-Wop returns to Ruth Eckerd Hall for Doo-Wop Reunion's 20th anniversary. It's an all-star lineup of legendary musicians from the 50s and 60s, featuring Kenny Vance and the Planetones, Looking for an Echo, and This I Swear. I know This I Swear. The Crests featuring Tommy Mara. He does 16 Candles, The Angels Listened In. Jay Siegel's Tokens. I know you know The Lion Sleeps Tonight. And Portrait of My Love. And I know you know these songs. The Coasters are going to sing Yakety Yak and Charlie Brown for you.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Drifters will be there too. Save the Last Dance for Me and Under the Boardwalk. So it should be an amazing night with a lot of great entertainment. You'll really get a kick out of it. March 7th, we're going to go back to the ship. Get on the Barbara Lee out there. They'll take you up and down. Have a great meal. Great wildlife.
I have my shirt.
Oh, that's what you're showing off.
The Barbara Lee.
Buffy, come up here to the camera. There's your camera right there. Buffy is showing off her shirt from the same. I was wondering why you were standing back there holding your hair up. At first I ran off Ollie, and now Buffy's losing it. I've obviously gone too long. So March 7th, St. John's River Ship. It's a long day, but worth every bit. March 8th, we're going to do one day of the Strawberry Festival this year. And how did we pick our date? You may ask. Well, it was not difficult. We're going to go on March 8th just because it's a Monday. And it shouldn't be too crowded. There are no headliners that are going to be at the Strawberry Festival this year. They've scrubbed all the headliners. But there will be other bands and entertainers on site. So you'll get to see those guys. It won't cost you a nickel. And you can go watch the little pigs race. If you don't go watch the pig races, I don't know why you would go to the Strawberry Festival if you don't watch the pig races. You can hang out with Marina and have one of those Krispy Kreme burgers. You can have corn dogs and all kinds of other stuff that's just terrible for you but tastes so good. And of course, you can bring home some strawberries. Dad usually does a nice stop for you at Parksdale, so you can get a good pallet of strawberries on the ride home. March 13th, we've got On Your Feet, the Gloria Estefan story. Everybody gather around now, let's conga. The inspiring true story about heart, heritage, and two people who believed in their talent and each other to become an international sensation, Gloria and Amelia Estefan. This exhilarating musical follows their incredible journey from anonymity in Cuba to stardom in the United States. Here, the rhythm is going to get you. Conga, get on your feet. Don't want to lose you now. Coming out of the dark, 1, 2, 3, and more. So a lot of great songs. You're going to get a blast out of that. And as always, great food and entertainment down at the Broadway Palm. Our lunch bunch in March is going to be something new and unique. We're going to go to a restaurant. Somebody recommended it to me. I can't recall who, but it's called Made. It's down in Sarasota, and they focus on acquiring locally sourced foods. So good, fresh, local food, and real nice menu, and a little bit of good seeing for you heading around Sarasota. So that'll be the March lunch bunch. March 20th, we're going to try again to go to the Mount Dora Spring Craft Festival. If you remember, we tried to do it in October, didn't get quite enough folks to jump on the bus for that one. So we'll see what the craft, they have it on their calendar. Hopefully they have some vendors come down and lay some great stuff out for you to see. A lot of great restaurants and a beautiful city to stroll around, if nothing else. It's actually got hills. That's why it's called Mount Dora.
And they sold a shirt in the store that I climbed Mount Dora.
Do they?
I couldn't believe it.
They have an I Climbed Mount Dora shirt there. So here's one of the brand new. It's 200 feet elevation, in case you were wondering. We're going to go to St. Augustine and Jacksonville. This is a new itinerary. I just put this one together. It's different from probably anything we've ever done. So you're going to be real excited at some of this. Day one. Here's day one. We are going to drive out towards St. Augustine. We're going to have a pit stop in Daytona Beach. We'll stop for lunch, and then you probably don't want to eat a real big heavy lunch, because after lunch we're going to do a tour at Daytona International Speedway and top that off with the highlight of Jesse Austin's life. You listening, Jesse? We're going to take the bus around the track at Daytona International Speedway with your own Jesse Austin driving.
Can you go as fast as you want?
He cannot go as fast as he wants because the bus has a governor on it that limits his speed to 68 miles an hour. And he did shed a tear when we were talking about it.
I thought you were going to say we were going to ride the speed car.
If I can, I would like to have them have a pace car out there and show you how fast they can go by the bus. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be working on that. So then, the day's not over. We're going to get up to St. Augustine. We'll do our usual familiarization trolley ride, get checked in the hotel, and give you the evening in St. Augustine if you want. We'll do some shuttling with the bus. Not as fast as we did it on the track, but safe speeds.
Jacksonville, the place on the St. Johns River where they have the elevator bridge, the middle of it goes up and down?
Yes.
Well, okay, I
Yeah,
went on a tour with Travell. It's fun
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we're going to go by that.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's going to be day two. I take that back. Day two is going to be a free day in St. Augustine with your trolley pass. So you can go see all the sights in St. Augustine on day two. Day three is going to be a day in Jacksonville. So right after breakfast, we'll have an early breakfast, get the heck out of the hotel, and head up north about 40 minutes to Jacksonville. We're going to start the day with a cruise on the St. Johns River, like Buffy was talking about. They have, I think it's 7 or 8 unique bridges over the St. Johns in Jacksonville. It's got a lot of bridges. So the boat is going to take us around, show us the different bridges. One of them is an elevator bridge that goes up and down, the whole thing in the center, rises and falls. Jesse and I walked across that one last time we were there. We're going to do a lunch stop in Jacksonville. For the afternoon, we're going to do some touring. I'm going to do some historical touring with you. I have a couple surprises I'm working on for the afternoon. And then we're going to polish the day off with a very nice dinner at a local restaurant in Jacksonville. After dinner, we're going to do a tour of a candy factory called Sweet Pete's. And part of your tour is you get to tell the folks making the candy bars what you like, and they're going to make you a custom candy bar for dessert. So we'll have a late return back to St. Augustine after all this. Right? So you can eat your candy bar on the bus on the ride home. Don't get any on the seats. And we'll tuck you in. Then day 3, or no, this will be day 4. After breakfast, we will board the bus. We're going to take a nice, easy, scenic drive along the coast. And we're going to end up at Disney Springs for your lunch stop. And we'll give you a good couple, 2-3 hours at Disney Springs so you can do some shopping, get a nice lunch. There's a half a dozen really good, more than half a dozen really good restaurants there. The tough part is choosing what you would like. You can take boat rides across the lake there. You can take a balloon ride. All of those things are available there. They also have amphibious cars you can buy a ride in. I think those are a little expensive, if I remember right, but it looks like a lot of fun. And those are actual antique amphibious cars. They're not something Disney built. They're actually something that was a product 50, 60 years ago. So that's Jacksonville and St. Augustine in March. March 25th, we're going to go see Herman's Royal Lipizzan Stallions, some of the only horses in the world that get all 4 feet off the ground at the same time. And they're beautiful animals, well-trained. We're going for one of their training sessions, which is much less expensive than going to see their arena. Their arena show, your tickets are 60, 70, 80, 90 bucks or more. Much less expensive to watch the training show, but you get 80, 90% of what they would do in the arena. So that's a pretty good deal. And we're going to do lunch on your own at the Cracker Barrel with that one. March 27th, they have moved the Kumquat Festival in Dade City from January into March for 2 reasons. Number 1, because of the COVID concerns. Number 2, to get it into a little bit warmer weather, because January's pretty cold up in Dade City. If you've never been to the Kumquat Festival, number 1, kumquats are an Asian import, came from China, if I remember correctly. It's a tiny little citrus fruit, and you can make all kinds of things out of it. You can make kumquat milkshakes and wine and jams and all kinds of stuff. Yes.
Will the kumquats be there?
Yeah, they usually have kumquats there.
I know, but they're moving it 2 months away, right?
They should still have them available, though. I don't think, if nothing else, they'll have preserves and other products.
Yeah, like are they still in season? I
Yeah.
guess is the question.
Yeah, I think they're still in season by then. That's probably the end of the season. But so that's one of the best organized outdoor festivals too you'll ever find. They do a great job. They get people moving around. We're going to go back to New Orleans. I was supposed to go to New Orleans last March when all of this went down. So we're going to go back to New Orleans. We won't be going with Diamond Tours this time because Diamond Tours will not be operating tours till sometime after March. So this is.
Didn't you have one in November or October that also got canceled?
Yes. Yeah, we were going to try and do it in November, I think. But yeah, so that was going to be a Diamond Tour. This is going to be an in-house Travel is Fun tour. We've got Drury Inns for you in New Orleans, walking distance to the French Quarter. And it's a historic building that this Drury is in. If you've been with us to San Antonio, the Drury's on the Riverwalk there are kind of like that. 9 meals included. You won't go hungry on this trip. You get the World War II Museum. You get to go to Mardi Gras World, Mississippi paddle boat river cruise. And there's going to be step-on guides and a whole lot more. And I just love going to New Orleans. It's a really neat city to explore. Wrapping up March, we've got Nana Does Vegas. That's going to be at the Off-Broadway Palm Dinner Theater again. Get ready because Nana is back. If you loved Nana's Naughty Knickers, and I know you did, you're sure to love this hysterical sequel. Nana has taken a gamble and moved to Las Vegas with her sidekick Vera. After Nana gets an offer she couldn't refuse, she and Vera begin making costumes for the hottest show in Vegas. What could possibly go wrong? Why does every show end with that? What could possibly go wrong? I don't know. Everything. Okay, time for a few more stairs. We got a couple more trips to show you. This is a Zig Ziglar quote. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And a couple other guys have tried to steal that quote, but I think Zig Ziglar said it first. Speaking of success, not a good place to be drinking. They do at least have a sign though. See that? It says caution on uneven surfaces. And there's some lack of planning there. I don't think the guardrail worked out real well. Unless you like dead ends. That's looking down in a library, looks like. And more dangerous steps for you. And I don't think that one goes anywhere.
Winchester House.
Yeah.
Because she has stairs to nowhere.
That's just so she could dust the ceiling fan.
Is that it? Now there is a beautiful, again, no handrail, but a beautiful set of stairs.
She's hugging the wall.
Yeah, I would too. And the maid's gonna get tired of washing handprints off that wall.
Right.
But gorgeous set of stairs. Again, must have cost a fortune to build. Okay, a couple more to show you. We've got Chattanooga coming. If you like train rides, this one's for you. We got 10 meals included on this little 6-day trip. 3 train rides, Missionary Ridge Local, Lookout Mountain Inclined Railway, and the Blue Ridge Scenic Railway. You're going to have a dinner cruise on the Southern Belle. And you got Ruby Falls and Rock City Gardens. So if you've been driving by all those See Ruby Falls signs your whole life, you can finally go to Ruby Falls and be done with it. I know I would like to be.
Rock City birdhouses that you
Right.
see everywhere.
You got it. I'd like to see both so I could be done with it. Because I got to drive by all those when we go see the grandkids. And then finally, we've got the Grand Canyon. That is coming up in May. Currently have about people on the list. So it's a pretty healthy list. I expect it to grow a little bit more by May as people get their vaccines and venture out of the house and start to demand getting to do things. But it'll be a real exciting trip. Ollie's on there, so you get Ollie, no extra charge. But 26 meals. We got a full day at the Grand Canyon with the IMAX movie. Guided tours all over the place. Guides in Austin, Santa Fe, Oklahoma City, Dallas. We're going to visit the South Fork Ranch where they filmed Dallas. And we're going to have lunch there too. We got the Petrified Forest, the National Cowboy Museum. Back around April, May, the night watchman at the National Cowboy Museum got Facebook famous because they asked him to kind of promote the museum when he was on his rounds. So he started trying to figure out how to do Twitter and Facebook. And, you know, he's our age or a little older, and his grandkids are trying to talk him through this. And you can imagine how it went. But that'll be an exciting trip. One last thing before we find out where in the world. What day is it? Today is December 9th. It is Christmas card day. So if you haven't done your Christmas cards yet, you're supposed to do them. It's Anti-Corruption Day. So Carl, we're looking at you.
Okay.
It is also Llama Day. And thank God Wendy's not here. She would demand a llama. And it's also National Pastry Day. So if you didn't get a piece of cake when you had your lunch, you have an excuse. It's National Pastry Day. So you deserve a pastry. Rumor mill, we're still working on something for Charleston. New Orleans is out there, and so is St. Augustine. So I've got to work on some new rumors for you. Does anybody have any questions? How about you in there?
If Ollie wasn't there, how could anybody get in their room?
If Ollie was not there, how could you get in your room? It would be ugly and disorganized, and you would all be angry at me.
Wonderful.
So I don't know how I would do it without Ollie. It would be difficult. I would have a hard time. Any questions? Who thinks I should give Ollie a raise? All right, Ollie, 20% raise.
Oh, boy.
It's generous, isn't it?
Oh, you're wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
1.5 that we're getting in January.
Yeah. Okay, it is time for Where in the World. So, did you have any You had a couple right guesses. Anybody else? We definitely have a winner. So, who would like to know where in the world was?
Yeah.
It is the Chattanooga Choo-Choo train station in Chattanooga. That's the picture I showed you up in the upper right there. And Bob Durant, you had the best answer. Good job, Bob. Count on Bob. And so let's see. Bob's going to get $25 off of his next tour. So that's pretty good. But never fear. I have a couple other goodies to give away. So we're going to do the goodie bag and hand out some prizes. Sorry, you folks at home. You got to be in person to win these. So let's see. Barbara Garabrandt wins something. I'm going to come to you. Close your eyes.
Oh, she can dig in the bag.
Oh,
look at that.
Barbara got a good prize.
What is it?
That's a good one. Yeah,
That one's from Wendy.
that's a good one.
Next month's meeting will be on Wednesday, January 13th, by the way, available on YouTube Live and here at Big Apple Buffet. Barbara Moore, good to see you, and everybody else.
Is it the last quarter?
Maybe that is January. The previous quarter. So yeah, if you have receipts for dining with Big Apple Buffet, turn those into Ollie with your name, and we'll do a drawing next month for that. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the bus.
Tomorrow. You're not doing it anymore at the.
Lake Seminole Square? Yeah, they won't let me in.
They had a special, was it yesterday, the other day, a drive-through with their holiday.
Yeah.
But it was so windy, it was terrible, everything on the table was falling off and everything. And it was so cold. Well, hey, nice holiday.
Yeah, it's hard doing stuff outside. We've been doing most of our Boy Scout stuff outside, and it's so dark. Yeah.
And they were in the backyard, right on the water. They set it up in the back. They set it in the front somewhere, it wouldn't be that bad, it would be sunny, they would be that cold, but they set it in the back of the tables, everything on the tables just went flying everywhere. That was that bad.